So why is it so important to book 2 shows from every show that you do? Why is that so critical? And I'm going to explain this to you. A new consultant, when they first start, we always tell you to fill your calendar. Call up everyone you know. Try to do at least 6 shows in your first month. So what happens if a new consultant in month 1 books 6 shows? She booked her 6 shows, but the law of averages, and whether you're a new consultant or a seasoned consultant and been in the business as long as I have, you get cancellations. Things happen, situations arise, you can't prevent that. So you booked 6 shows as a new consultant, but you got 2 cancellations. So now you have 4 shows on your calendar as a new consultant. You've done 4 shows, but if you got 2 bookings at every single show, month 2, that new consultant has 8 shows on her calendar. So she's going into month 2 with 8 cooking shows. She has 8 shows booked, but she got 2 cancellations because that's just what happens. She now has 6 shows left on her calendar. She does 6 shows. She gets 2 bookings at every show. At the end of month 2, this new consultant has 12 shows on her calendar. She's going into month 3 with 12 shows on her calendar. She gets 2 cancellations, which happens. You can't prevent that. She does 10 shows, okay? From those 10 shows, she gets 2 bookings per show. So she winds up doing 20 shows going into her 4th month. So what happens now? You're thinking, 20 shows? I can't do 20 shows in 1 month. Well, if you've been out there doing that many shows for the past 3 months, chances are you've shared the business opportunity with a number of people because you've been in front of enough people. And what can happen is you can help your consultants and give them some of the bookings, and they're all not going to be in the same month. Some are going to be in the following month, some are going to be, 2 months out. So don't panic about that. But that's the good thing. You're going to have a higher paycheck, you're going to get more future bookings because you've been in front of enough people, and you're going to recruit people. So that's what happens when you book 2 shows at every show. And that's how you continue to have a strong business. But let me show you what happens when you book 1 show at every show. Deb, can you shut that door for me? They're a little too noisy. The sliders, I think they're in the back, aren't they?
No, the sliders
Oh, okay.
shut.
Thanks. Okay.
They're in the back room.
Okay. So what happens when a new consultant books 1 show at every show? So the first month, she started out with 6 shows, right? She has 6 shows on her calendar as a new consultant. She got 2 cancellations, which are normal. So now she has 4 shows, okay? The new consultant has 4 shows on her calendar, and she booked 1 show at each one of those 4 shows. So now she has 4 shows going into month 2, okay? So month 2 she has 4 shows, but she got her 2 cancellations because that's what happens. It's the nature of the business. She now is down to 2 shows in her 2nd month. She does her 2 shows. She gets 1 booking at each one of those shows. She now has 2 shows going into month 3. Month 3, she has 2 shows on her calendar. She gets 2 cancellations. She's left with a goose egg. She has no shows going into her 3rd month of the business, 4th month of the business, I apologize. She has no business left. So what happens at that point? Some people walk away. They're discouraged. I have no shows. I'm finished. My Pampered Chef career is over. Or the smart people go into rebuild. And what do? Like when they were brand new, they call up all of their friends and family, and they say, I really need you to help me. June is an amazing month to get started. I'd love to help you, earn double free products. We're going to have, some amazing incentives coming out. We have great theme shows going on. This is a great time to have a show. But you've got to backpedal, and you have to call up everyone you know, and you have to start from zero again. So really, I hope you can see why it's important to book 2 shows at every show. And if you're sitting here saying, well, I don't really know how that's going to happen, there are a lot of ways that you can book 2 shows at every show. Number 1, and it's a whole other training, but I'm going to give you the gist of it. You want to get your host involved, okay? You want to say to your host before the show happens, Susie, who do you think would want to book a show? I'm going to give you an extra gift if you get me 2 bookings before I arrive at your show. I'm going to give your two friends an extra gift if they book a show and they have it dated for me on my calendar when I arrive. So that's a way of getting your host involved to get bookings before the show. And then we talked about, getting bookings at the show, and then how do you get bookings after the show. So before you close your shows, you should be getting 2 bookings at each show. You can follow up with all the outside orders. They all came on your website. There's their phone number and their email, reaching out to every single person. Thank you for your order. I'd love to tell you what's going on in the month of June, what we're offering our hosts. So you want to follow up with outside orders. You want to email all of the guests that were there, let her know what the hostess got for free, and maybe they'd like to have their own show. So there are ways of making sure that you get at least 2 bookings at every show. You should not push submit on your show until it has 2 bookings attached to it, because if you do, in 3 to 4 months, you're going to have a tremendous calendar. And if you don't, you're going to find yourself struggling with no bookings, and you're going to have to start backpedaling and do an all-out booking blitz and really get back in it again like you did in the very beginning. And we don't ever want you to have to be in that position. So by booking 2 shows from every show, it is our hope, and we know, because that's why we're here for as long as we are, that you will have a very strong business that stays for a very long time. Thanks, Amy.